You know that feeling, right? When you're being pulled in 10 different directions at once, totally overwhelmed, and it feels like you're losing every battle before you even start. Well, what if I told you there's a 400-year-old samurai principle that was literally designed to master the chaos of modern life? It's not about fighting harder, it's about winning the war inside your own head. This right here, this was the central puzzle a samurai had to solve back in 1615. And let's be honest, it's the exact same problem we face today. Our 10 enemies aren't warriors on a battlefield. They're work deadlines, family drama, trying to stay healthy, paying the bills. And we're losing because our mind is trying to fight all 10 at the same time, which means we get defeated by the very first one that pops up. It wasn't some secret fighting style or a hidden weapon. It was an art form, the art of being completely, unshakably present. We're going to rediscover this lost art by following the story of a young samurai named Takeshi. His journey from total failure to true mastery, well, it holds all the keys. So picture this. It's 1615. We meet Takeshi. He's a young samurai student, just 17, and he's been training for 5 years. On paper, he should be brilliant. Technically, he's a prodigy. But in a real match, he's completely crippled by fear and a mind that just will not shut up. And this is his problem in a nutshell. On one hand, his body knows exactly what to do. His form is perfect, his strikes are lightning fast. But on the other hand, his mind is just a chaotic storm of what-ifs. What if I lose? What will my master think? He's thinking about everything except the single moment right in front of him. So when the pressure is on, all that perfect technique just completely falls apart. So this is the moment everything comes to a head. His master, Yamamoto, confronts him, and he sees right through all that skill, straight to the root of the problem. He tells him, look, it's not about your swordsmanship. It's not about your strength. It's your complete and total lack of presence. Basically, Takeshi isn't just failing to fight, he's failing to even show up. And this is where Takeshi's training takes a hard left turn. No more sword practice, no more drills. His master shifts the focus entirely from the physical to the mental. And his new training, it begins with the most boring, mundane task you can possibly imagine, sweeping the dojo floor. His master introduces him to this powerful idea, Shoshin, or beginner's mind. Just think about it for a second. A beginner has no expectations. They have no fear of failure. They're just completely absorbed in the simple task at hand, full of curiosity. And this, his master explains, is the samurai's greatest and most powerful weapon. Now, this wasn't easy. The first week was absolute torture. His mind was screaming, this is pointless, this is a waste of time. You know, kind of like our minds do when we try to focus on one thing instead of jumping between 10 different tabs. But then, in the second week, something clicked. For just a few seconds, the constant chatter in his head just stopped. He actually heard silence. And by week 3, that tiny glimpse turned into a massive breakthrough. And this is where it all pays off. He's in a sparring match, and he's not thinking about winning, he's not thinking about losing, he's not even thinking about his technique. His body just moves. It's responding to the moment with this fluid grace he's never had before. See, he isn't fighting an opponent anymore, he's more like he's dancing with the present moment. And that's when he realizes, that is true power. With this new awareness, his master decides he's ready for his final exam. And the stakes could not be higher. It's a duel against his master, who is wielding a real, sharpened, live-bladed katana. Now, what's so fascinating about all this is that what Takeshi was experiencing wasn't some ancient mystery. He was literally, physically rewiring his brain. Modern neuroscience actually shows us that this practice of presence is a trainable skill that creates real, measurable change in our heads. So, what was actually happening inside his skull? While his training was basically turning down the volume on the part of his brain responsible for mind wandering, while at the same time strengthening his prefrontal cortex. That's the CEO of your brain, in charge of attention and emotional control. He was weakening the grip of his fear center, which allowed his body to access all its training directly. We call this a flow state. The samurai had a word for it too, mushin, the mind of no mind, where action just happens, without the clumsy interference of conscious thought. So during the duel, the master intentionally leaves this huge, obvious opening. It's a trap, and this isn't a test of skill. It's a test of awareness. The old, reactive Takeshi would have lunged at it without a second thought. But here, he shows a new principle, zanshin, or remaining awareness. He doesn't just see the opponent. He sees the entire moment, the intention, the space, the trap. He doesn't move. By refusing the bait, he proves he is truly present, not just reactive. And with that, he passes. He is officially a samurai. But his master explains that this was just the first transformation, from a student into a warrior. To achieve true mastery, he had to go beyond combat itself. His next journey was going to be one of total stillness. So Takeshi is sent to a Zen monastery on Mount Koya for a full year. There are no swords here. His training now is all about finding presence not in motion, but in absolute stillness. We're talking hours and hours of silent meditation. And that's a challenge so many of us face in a world that never ever stops talking. His final, ultimate test comes a year later. A nearby village is being terrorized by 5 masterless samurai, basically bandits. Takeshi is sent to handle it. But he goes alone. And get this, he goes completely unarmed. His only weapon is his presence. This is the ultimate test of what he learned in the monastery. Fudoshin, the immovable mind. He meets the bandit leader not with aggression, but with this incredibly calm, centered presence that just cannot be shaken. He doesn't challenge the man's strength. He speaks to the lost honor he knows is still buried inside him. He becomes like a mirror, reflecting the bandit's own true nature back at him. And the result is just astonishing. The bandits, faced with his Fudoshin, his complete lack of fear, his total lack of aggression, they find that violence is simply impossible. They can't fight him. They just put down their swords and leave. Takeshi proves that the highest level of mastery doesn't defeat enemies, it transforms them. So, what can we take away from Takeshi's incredible journey? Well, it really boils down to these 3 pillars. First, Shoshin, that beginner's mind he discovered while sweeping the floor. That's what lets us see every modern task as fresh and new. Second, Zanshin, the remaining awareness he used in the duel to see the trap. That's our ability to navigate a difficult meeting without getting reactive. And finally, Fudoshin, the immovable mind, that calm center he found that let him face 5 bandits, unarmed. That's the inner peace we're all searching for when the world feels like total chaos. And that brings us right back to where we started. The samurai faced 10 enemies on the battlefield. You face them every single day, in your email inbox, in difficult conversations, in your own ambitions and your own fears. So the question isn't whether you can defeat them all at once. The real question is, can you learn to face just one? The one that's right here, right now.